Yeah, last night stunk. As a Canes fan, that sucked. I hated it.
Tell me how you really feel.
I'm telling you exactly right now how it feels. Like any other Canes fan right now. Last night was so frustrating.
Dennis,
losing 1-0 to the Florida Panthers. Now the Canes trail 3-0 in a series against the Florida Panthers where neither team has led by more than one goal the entire series. This whole series has been played at 1 goal game or tied. That's it.
I have an announcement here to make here on
Okay,
99.9
talk to
The
me.
Fan. Andrei Svechnikov, who I know is listening to this broadcast right now, he can have my ACL if he can suit up in Game 4 and swing
Okay,
this
that's
series
fine.
around,
Well,
because
I will make sacrifices too.
the lack of offense, you can't win if you don't put one in the back of the net.
No, and that's the thing that frustrates a lot of fans right now. And it's frustrating to really to everybody. And we'll hear comments from head coach Rob Brindamore on that here in just a moment. But yes, like they played they played a great game yesterday. And it's not just me saying that.
The last two games.
Honestly, the last two games, but I'm just specifically last night. Even had like Paul Bissonnette, Wayne Gretzky, Anson Carter, the guys on the broadcast for TNT and their studio analysts going, yeah, Canes have played a great game. They just haven't scored. Like, they haven't gotten any puck luck. Ranked 3 shots off the post yesterday. Sticking Sergei Bobrovsky making a save right off his toe right there on the goal line. It's like, Nothing is bouncing their way right now.
And he's no spring chicken either. At 34 years old, this is his very first playoff career shutout.
Yeah.
He's made dozens of career starts. I got the stats right here somewhere in the notes, Dennis. But it's like, this is the very first time in his career he's been able to do that. He's been able to stand on his head. Whatever analogy you want to make, the Canes just couldn't get one by him. And sometimes it's, you're really good. But it also helps sometimes when you're lucky, too. And it's just like, and I know something we're going to talk about this where it's like, we're, I don't know, a few minutes into this broadcast, and I'm pretty sure he's either made another save, or another one's gone off the post yet again, Dennis.
And that, Carolina hasn't scored since 1 and 43 seconds into game number 2. It was the last time that they scored a goal. They've gone over 120 minutes without scoring. Over 120 minutes without scoring a goal. And that's frustrating for us as fans, but I know head coach Rob Brindamore is frustrated. Rob Brindamore spoke earlier on if he senses a feeling of frustration.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how are you not frustrated? I mean, there's times when you lose and, you're frustrated because you got beat, but it feels like we were losing, but we're not really getting beat, and that's where it gets frustrating. So, But, the old story, it's one day at a time, and we'll pick the pieces up tomorrow, and then we'll try to, throw our best at them next game and take it from there.
All right, so that's head coach Rob Brindamore talking about frustrating. And it's a nail on the head. Yeah, absolutely it's frustrating. You're showing something right now that visibly show the frustration.
Yeah, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, where it's like immediately after the game, the players are going into the locker room where it's just like, You get chance after chance after chance after chance. You get more shots on goal in the last 2 games than the Panthers do, and you just don't have the results to show for it. And again, you've got to put one in the back of the net at some point in time. And, you could point to officiating. You could point to lack of execution on the power play last night. However you want to spin it, you're not going to win if you don't score. And it's just like the Canes have gotten what they've needed to from their goaltending in this series as well. I thought Freddie Anderson played a great game last night, too. So they're getting what they need. But Bobrovsky's he's been absolutely spectacular. And really, he's been the difference, in my opinion, in this series.
We'll get to the officiating and all that stuff here in just a little bit. But talk about the post-game locker room, the image, the GIF, however you want to say it, that's been going around with the Canes was just Jesperi Kotkaniemi. This gets into our second thing here at 3 o'clock. Jesperi Kotkaniemi going into the locker room, just destroying his stick. I think that's Jack Drury behind him, basically trying to protect himself from that. But this is something that, Kotkaniemi visibly showing the frustration. But, hey, Kotkaniemi, where have you been this series? Teuvo Teravainen, I know you've been back in this series after coming off the broken hand, but, hey, buddy, we need more from you. Martin Necas, I thought, had his worst game of the postseason yesterday, and he's had some bad ones. This one was probably his worst postseason. Like, hey, star guys getting paid. You talk about guys got to fill the back of the net. Well, you can't. We always point to Sebastian Aho, right? Because he's the top guy. But Martin Necas, where are you scoring right now? Kokaniemi, Teuvo Teravainen, where is your goal scoring? Like, where's your production been? Because it's been non-existent this series. Non-existent.
And that's something we'll ask Pat Welter about later in today's show too, Dennis, is who or where do you put the blame to this point in the series where you're down 3-0 and history is stacked against you? You'd need a historic comeback at this point to say, hey, we're going to win the Eastern Conference Final and to advance the Stanley Cup, to where right now it's just like realistically you're fighting against history right now. Only 4 teams have done it in the history of the entire playoffs. It's never happened in the conference finals before.
Yeah, the most recent one was 2014. It was the LA Kings most recently doing it. Now, talking about the level of desperation, you get backs against the wall. It's truly win or your season's over. The captain, Jordan Stahl, was asked about there being a level of desperation.
Well, when you're down 3 on the road, I guess you're going to be more desperate. So we'll have to be even much more desperate next game and find a way to start with 1.
Yeah, the question was like, hey, if you were down 2-0 going to this series, would you feel pretty desperate going to this one? Like, or is there more desperation now? He's like, well, yeah, we're down 3-0. Of course we are. But you brought up the key there is that as great overall as a game they played, again, they only gave up 1 goal, and it was a power play goal that got deflected, Mark. But you gotta find the back of the net, just some way, shape, or form, and just nothing is going in for this team right now. I think they wasted all their goal scoring in that New Jersey Devils series.
They fulfilled their quota.
They really did, because if you look at the New Jersey Devils series, the first 4 games, they scored 21 goals, and they scored 24 goals overall in those 5 games. I thought, like, what goal scoring?
Well, we saw the struggles on the power play again last night, and I know that was a big question going into the playoffs is where's your production, but not to get a shot on goal during your 1 power play opportunity. Again, like it's, but here's the thing too. I go back to the shots on goal, both in game 2 and game 3, and it's considerably more than Florida.
Yeah.
It's considerably more than Florida. So, and they're even saying it, you brought up a great point earlier too, where the legends that are on the TNT broadcast, you've got Wayne Gretzky and the whole crew there, and they're talking about the style of play.
Yeah.
That the Canes are, in the last 2 games, from people who know a heck of a lot more about hockey than I do, are saying the Canes have played better. The Panthers are just the ones that have happened to score.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
And that is probably the most frustrating thing, not only for the team, but also for us as fans, but definitely the team, is that you're doing everything right and you're still coming up on the short end of things.
If I had one silver lining, Matthew Tkachuk not scoring an overtime goal, like that's where we're at right now.
Yay.
That's where we're at
I guess
right
that's
now.
where we are. Whew. Yeah, of course, he gets an assist on the lone goal from yesterday. Yeah, he's factored in every game-winning goal so far in the series, Matthew Tkachuk. He's one of the best players in the world.